Well, David, I was just saying I'm super excited to have the conversation. We've talked about it a bunch, and you guys are doing a lot of cool things. We really enjoyed getting to come down there and see you guys and hang out. And I was telling Dad, man, it was like the financial brains and the fintech brains and everybody just having fun. It was really cool. But
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I would love it if you just take a minute, man, introduce yourself. You got such a cool background and have done so many cool things, and you're such a pro at everything. If you just kind of give a little intro, that'd be great.
Okay. David Kapavik. I live in Shiner, Texas. I've been with SouthStar Bank for 30 years. Prior to that, I was an FDIC bank examiner and actually examined this bank. That's how I got the job. They said, you found this stuff. You think you can fix it? And I had to say yes. Anyway, so just been in that industry. This bank is 1920, been around 105 years. A good community bank, solid core. We started in a very rural area. Actually, I'm sitting right now in Moulton, Texas. That's where we're still keeping our charter. I call it the world headquarters, town of 900 people. Um, and so, we started as a rural bank, grew, went to small towns like Shiner and Gonzales and Brazoria, and then we have a group of banks over the College Station area, and we started going into the Austin area, and then that's where we have our urban branches. So we have total about 17 branches, and just have developed over time with the core banking, community banking at the center. But we've always been interested in different specialty or niche programs that you know, we want to get good at. And what we find is that it takes a lot of effort, but there aren't, there's not a lot of competition if you have something that's really specialized. And another thing we find out is ultimately people seek you out. And so, although we're doing a lot of marketing now, we'll continue. But at some point, those type of programs we find are very beneficial just because the world finds you. We do a national mortgage warehousing program, which I don't know of any other community banks doing that. We fund loans for mortgage companies on the table and keep the loans 14 days until we securitize them. Um, and 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 we've done that for over 30 years, and it's kind of an example of something we do. And there's ups and downs and cycles, and it seems like a product like that can be kind of counter cyclical, and this is diversification. And I just I don't want to get bored with banking. I'm always trying to do something that's interesting. So
Well,
anyway,
you sure have. I'll tell you what. I think you guys have. I did a little homework on some of your core stuff, like 17 branches, 1.25 billion in assets. You guys have grown. You've done great. So here's some cool stats here. Your non-transaction accounts to employees, 4.46. This is outrageous. Great numbers. ROA, 1.68. Is that right? No, that's your rating. ROA 1.52 as of last quarter, probably better this quarter. Your FedFiz rating 1.68. That's phenomenal. I mean, your net interest margin's over 4.5. I mean, you guys are just crushing it in every aspect. And one of the things that why I was so interested about, man, and excited to have you on here is first off, that damn barbecue place in Gonzales. Oh man, that was something else. What was the name of that place?
Baker Brothers.
That's right. So go there and eat there if you get a chance. But I wanted to kind of really focus in as fast as we can. A couple of neat things. I think it's a great story. Me and Tanner are sitting in a deer blind with this guy one time, and he's like, "What do y'all do for a living?" We kind of talked a little bit, and he said, "Well, my father-in-law, he works at a bank." And before too long, we're texting each other back and forth in the deer blind with David, and just crazy things in life of how things work out. But and then we end
He's
up,
a heck of a nice guy too.
oh man,
Firefighter, right?
you
He
got a
is,
great
and I
son-in-law.
admit he out hunts and out fishes me, but that's okay because he has a boat. And no, and we're in the same circles. Guys like us, we're down to earth and out in the field. So I really love that. When people, hey, no airs about them. This is who I am, and we just have fun. And so anyway, we don't golf a whole lot at this bank. Most of the rural guys we go hunting and fishing. I just came
That's
back
it
from
here.
Canada. Yeah, that's where we came. Were yesterday last week. So anyway, that's fun. That's why we're in the same boat.
So what's cool with this story, y'all? We go from a deer blind to Cowboys, bankers helping bankers, learning more about the bank, and come to find out you are one of those banks that, man, we stress this to everybody. I bet I've worn my vocal cords out trying to explain to bankers how many opportunities and specialty things that there are out there to make an enormous amount of money. We kind of talked a little bit about the success you've had. And I mean, as a basic banker, you'd look at this bank and say, well, they're residential, they do commercial, I mean, pretty normal stuff here. And then you get into the niche programs that you guys work on, and it's a whole new world. Let's see, I got some notes here about, you purchase specialized loan pools, the CRA loan program called HOPE. I want to hear about that. Then, of course, the self-directed IRA is an amazing story in itself.
Yeah, the Hope program, being we're in Austin and the way the world works right now, if you're in Austin, you don't just to cover your branches, you have to cover every county in the area. So to be able to expand our products, we had been purchasing loans through Habitat for Humanity, and then we built our own program. Hope means Home Opportunity Potential for Everyone. And it's a specialized program that we're able to make loans in the low to moderate income areas and the majority minority areas to serve all of Austin. And that's pretty difficult, William, Travis, and Hayes County. So anyway, that's what that's about. And
Hang on, David, that program, is that something other banks can buy into and get credits?
well, I'll tell you what we're doing right now, because we've got our volume up and we're looking at selling some of those loans. For CRA standpoint, they look at the volume that's on your books, and we have plenty of those loans. So we're looking at selling some of those now, which you can put on your books and get credit for CRA. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Bankers helping.
I'll tell you what, that is such a topic. I mean, such a topic, especially as everybody's trying to get out of their footprint a little bit, whether that's physically into a new market or digitally into new markets. And CRA, I mean, I know I'm the technology guy, but this has not been a topic in our world hardly ever. I mean, I've had to do some serious homework in the last 6 or 12 months. It's coming up all over the place, right? And I think you got something there, David. It's anywhere there's a lever to pull, I think other bankers would be dying to pull it.
So let's dig a little deeper here, guys. What we're talking about is, so a guy comes along and says, look, I've got this program with a vendor, let's say it's a hunting and fishing, optics or something, scopes and binoculars and stuff like that. Okay. They want to do their own card program. So we're going to bring this to a bank and say, look, if you would like to be the sponsor of this bank, there's really not a lot of risk there. Everything's taken care of. Moneymaker, everybody goes, yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden here comes CRA. And these things are like, well, if it wasn't for that, right? And these little blips along the way that were intended to be a good thing actually are hindering banking at a certain point. And they probably need to look at that. But that said, when you come along with a program like Hope, that all of a sudden is really good for, oh my gosh, from the people that are receiving it to your bank financials to other banks trying to implement completely other things. This is the world that we all live in now, that everybody doesn't really fully grasp that this has changed traditional banking. And that's why all of these different specialty things, I mean, there's a ton more that you do. I want you to tell them all. But all of these specialty things are working out to be, it's where the money's going, guys, whether it's Lending Club, SoFi, or whether it's SouthStar, these opportunity zones are there. I don't think anybody would look at your bank from top to bottom, financials, historicals, anything, and go, oh boy, that's an at-risk institution. No, hell no, you guys are just knocking the cover off the ball and not having any problem doing it.
We've been very blessed, and we don't mind reaching out a little bit. We usually tip our toe in the water first and learn the program, and then once we get all of our controls in place, we ramp it up. It's kind of like this Hope program a couple of years ago. We're like, we have to have a solution for this. we got a piece of software that helped us identify whenever a property came for sale in a low to moderate or majority minority area. And that program tells us before it's even, I mean, as soon as it's listed, it tells us about that property. So we reach out to the realtor and say, "Have we got a program for you?" And it's a very favorable program. But our success on it's family oriented. You know, a lot. I mean, it's a minority program, and they're very family oriented in that area, and we have not had any problems with it. And so we've seasoned it, and we want to continue doing it. And we're meeting all of our expectations because the way it is a moving target in CRA. You have to be meeting what your peers are. They're always comparing you against the peers. So some of the big banks come in and they have a lot of money and they're throwing it out there and giving it away, but you have to match that. And so anyway, it's been successful, and it's all for, it's not easy, but we're willing to take the effort, hard work to make it happen.
So tell us about the nationwide mortgage warehousing program. What are you doing there?
So that's a program. There are mortgage companies obviously all over the country, but people don't realize they don't have the money to fund their loans. A couple comes in and wants a home loan, and the mortgage company approves it, and they have it sold in the secondary market. But there's a period of 7 to 14 days where they have to deliver, after they close, they have to deliver the package to the mortgage company, and they have to review it before they're going to send the money. So there's a void there. There's a need for financing. And so we fill that need. I mean, we've done up to $4 billion a year now,
I love it.
rolling it. And it's a fee product. It's we get an interest along the way. We have great relationships. We just went to Canada. We took two of our mortgage companies, and they just feed us the business because we're easy to deal with. They can pick up the phone and talk to us. We're not, Bank of America. You know, that's what we do, and it's a significant program. And the other thing is countercyclical in the way of the securities. What we normally do is when the mortgage business rates are low, the mortgage business is really ripping. The volumes are really high, so we take the money out of our securities, and usually we take a profit on those because rates have dropped, and now it's a better environment to sell the securities, and we're moving it into more mortgages. And then vice versa, when when rates go back up, and the mortgage program slows down, then you're buying securities at a higher yield. And so that's worked real well for us. But fortunately, we've been able to keep to $200 million we have on the books right now, and it rolls every week. And but we've been up to 700 million. And when
Hopefully we're getting back there soon, right?
I hope so. Yes, sir.
That's right. Okay, so this leads to the next cool thing you're doing, and I don't know. I'll tell you what, I bet I listened for at least an hour before I knew what in the hell we were talking about when we were there at the bank, and you guys were talking about creating an LLC and taking an IRA and all the crazy cool stuff. And there's like 7 parts that you guys have put together to create some really, really neat things on self-directed IRAs. And maybe I'm the idiot in the room, but it was just to me fascinating to see what you guys have come up with. And that's another thing that I think, I mean, gosh, I bet I've told every one of my friends about just what you guys are up to and what a neat program that is. I just thought it was interesting.
Yes, sir. I'm really excited about this, and I think it can be really big. And part of it is educating the world how good this product is. Essentially, what it amounts to is, a lot of people, most everybody has a 401k, and you have certain funds you're going to direct your money into. And if you're in a company sponsored program, you may have to be just stuck on whatever they offer you, what American funds, and here's 10 funds. But as I understand in the big beautiful bill, I think there's a provision in there where this is going to change, where it's going to allow more opportunity for people to be able to invest outside of the normal funds. Okay, so that's typical 401k, but many people have IRAs that maybe they left the company and they're transferring the money. They keep it in their account, or they move it to another broker. or you can move the money into a what we call a self-directed IRA. And a self-directed IRA, it specifically allows you to invest in all of those other things except I guess collectibles and art is the only thing you can't invest in. So you're controlling your own money and deciding where to invest it. Primarily what we deal with is people investing in real estate. A lot of it's 1 to 4 family rental properties. So someone takes their money and they buy a property and they get cash flow and possibly even flip it and and if you have it in a Roth, it's all tax free. If you have it in the shell, the traditional, your tax is deferred, just like your 401k, but you get to
Right.
choose what you're going to invest in. And so I had been doing this personally, man. Several of our executives have been doing it personally and
Hmm.
doing it through a big custodian. And, it just got more and more difficult, especially after COVID. You couldn't get anybody to talk to you, to help you. And we said, there's a better way. So we looked at the checkbook IRA concept, which is what allows you to do is open up an IRA in a bank, and then you set up a companion account that's set up as an LLC or a trust, IRA trust, and then you get to take that checkbook and invest if you want to buy a piece of property, if you want to pay for repairs on your rental property, if you want to go buy some gold, if you want to go buy some cattle to put in the field. It's just amazing all the different types of investments. And a big one that I invest in is notes receivable. You take the money invested in notes receivable. Uh, it makes sense for me. I understand banking, and so you generally get a higher yield if it's a situation where somebody needs something kind of outside the normal banking channel. But anyway, that's kind of the background on that and what you can do with it.
So what is really cool here, guys, you got 4 buddies and you're like, I'll tell you what, if we were to all pull together our IRAs, call David and say, hey, have you got something? I bet he's got 15 different things you guys could work together with and then help you leverage that into, basically, again, just tax-free, tax-deferred investments and another way to grow. At the same time, you're learning about additional industries and different ways to make money in life. And I think what got me about all of this is just remember that part, Tanner, what's the name of that movie? Jurassic Park with the guy, and he's like, nature will find a way, right? And that's the way I feel about banking a lot of times is that we'll figure shit out, we'll get there. And it takes extremely clever people like David to be able to think outside the box. And what I'm seeing here is a pattern of once you start, I'll bet you got 50 other ideas we hadn't even talked about.
Just need time to implement them all. Yeah. No, and some of it's out of necessity too. I mean, if you're, and I always like to put myself in the shoes, even when I used to do loans and go to a tire shop and hey, get to know them. I'm buying tires from them, and they ask questions when they're relaxed, and you really learn kind of from your personal experiences. And what really got us into this business is that, as I mentioned earlier, the industry got so difficult. The big companies were buying out big companies, and you're dealing with a big custodian, and you're just against a brick wall. And we're like, just like you said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And we, went through the whole process and went through the regulators and got it approved. And this first time they had a bank brought it to them, and they were like, "Well, you're going to have to get an opinion on this." I said, "We'll do it. We'll figure it out." And sure enough, they're like, "We said no problem with it. You're not really you're not a trust company. You're just managing IRAs as a custodian." So.
So
Um,
is this the state or is this OCC or?
Both we're a state savings bank, so it's the Texas Department of Savings Mortgage Lending and the FDIC. FDIC also regulates us.
Okay, good, good.
David, I want to ask you if you don't mind, just kind of backing up 100,000 feet. I think we have these conversations. I know you do too with other bankers. And if you can't tell, also, he and I have sent you guys a bunch of referrals. I don't know if they've all called you yet, but some of those things we talked about, friends and things, you're probably going to get some calls to do some of this stuff. But anyway, just want to ask you, as you look at, and talk with other bankers and look at community banking, I know you're fired up, we're fired up, excited, and it's exciting time. I mean, there's more opportunity than I've ever seen. But the sentiment out there, or at least maybe it's the news cycle, I don't know, it's just real negative, and M&A is nasty, obviously, right? What's your feeling, on where things are going, how things look, what the opportunities look like, and the future of community banking? How about that?
There are obviously struggles out there, and there's that, looming concern about, hey, the country, going into a recession. That's always it's 30% chance now. But I don't look at that. I look at what I can control. What I can control as a community banker, what we can control as an industry. And I think, although we may not be able to do the super sexy stuff you guys do in the tech side, but we can partner up with people. And that's the key, is finding ways, doing digital advertising, or finding a way to be able to take a product and have the bank at the core of it, and then having whatever fintechs or other companies that can work with us. You have to
Yeah.
leverage yourself. You not only have to leverage yourself from a business standpoint and your personnel and everything, but you have to leverage your relationships. Um, and whether, the deal I was talking about, doing nationwide business with mortgage companies, who thinks that? But they need us and we need them. And so I think it's what we want to make of it. I'll tell you this. I don't think community banks will ever go away, and the main reason is most people, when if they're dealing with just basic car loans, I mean, I can see that becomes so commoditized. But if there's anything special about it, whether it's a construction loan, whether it's commercial real estate, whether it's an IRA, people want the information, give it to them as most efficient as possible, through the electronic means, or have good information available where they can ask, chat, and whatever. But if it gets to a point and they go, you know what, I really don't get this. I really want to do this deal. I need to talk to someone. Well, you pick up the phone. We don't have answering machines.
Yeah.
That is the difference. And so many people come to us because they're really frustrated with, there's a big custodian out there that, I tell you, I know a lot of people. I've tried to get one deal done for um, a year already and haven't gotten it done, and seen people that get stuck. So, having that accessibility when you need it, being efficient as possible with technology, but being a real community bank that treats you like that when you do need them. And I find that even young people building that first home, they don't know, they don't have a reference point, and having someone they can talk to, they'll come do business with. They'll even pay a premium if they need to be able to do business with you. Not that we're taking advantage of anybody, but if we do a specialty and have special people answering all their questions, I think there's a certain amount of that you have to balance between efficiency and accessibility.
Good call.
Yeah. Well said. I'll tell you what, for all my friends out there that are like, community banking is dead, just take that.
Yes. That
That
was great.
that was powerful. Man, I
Yeah.
love it. This is so
Being
cool.
nimble and having sharp people, but I think to your point, Dave, just having good people, I mean, I tell our team that all the time, and anytime, we all make mistakes and boo-boos and things. And the once in a blue moon, like maybe once or twice a year, I get a call from a customer, and it's like, I really don't want to get so and so in trouble, but I need this problem solved. You can tell that they really, it's a two-way street, and everybody cares about each other and knows about each other's family, right? And it makes a difference. And I really have a feel right now, maybe the pendulum has swung a long way in the other direction, but there's a want, from people coming back the other way. And my last one for you, David, so I know you guys have a branch in Kerrville, right?
Yes, sir.
With all the floods and everything. I'm just downriver in Comfort. So we got a little beat up here too. And it's still ongoing and difficult tragedy for everybody around. I just wanted to see if you guys had any struggles, needs, if there's anything we all could do to help or any of that.
Well, we appreciate it. We're working through the normal channels. We have several funds set up. We're also working with the FFA to allow people to, to buy the Visa cards. And we're actually Thursday. I'm going down there. I'm on the Federal Home Loan Bank Member Advisory Council. They called me and said, "Hey, you're the one bank we know that has a branch down there." So I set up a meeting. We're going there Thursday to view the whole area, and they're going to try to come up with some programs to help as well to partner with us. But we appreciate that, and after I come back from them and hear what they're doing, if I can think of anything, but people have been very generous, fortunately, very, very generous, and so, but the thing is, down the road is where they're going to really need it. The initial push, it's kind of like a better example when somebody passes away. Everybody's there, but then everybody goes back to their normal way. And so there's going to be people that do need to get that house rebuilt and they're stuck and they ran into a situation where they had the down payment, they can't get so we're going to be paying attention to that. Great people down there, great, business environment. And so I'll keep in touch, but thanks.
I appreciate it knowing that. I know your core has reached out to me asking about ways that, what to do to help here. And I know they're interested. So if there's some program along those lines that you run into that we can connect the dots, they're happy to help any way we can.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that I want everybody to understand is that we've really lacked a forum for bankers to sit down and really talk about different stuff like this, and when we talk about the Fed Fizz Roundup in November, that's exactly what this is. And one of the things that we've tried to talk to people about, we hate conferences too. We're all kind of sick of that stuff. But at the same time, this is a necessary thing. And, they'd come to the roundup. Let people come there and talk to you if they want to learn more about this. And I'll guarantee you can talk to them. And it's a place where we're at a moment in time, y'all, where the BS needs to kind of stop at a certain point and sit down and go, look, if we don't help each other, there's nobody coming to rescue us. And as you can see by talking to David, there's some seriously smart bankers out there that know a lot of things that actually you working with him actually helps him as he's helping you. And I mean, I see all of this stuff all the time on all fronts. And I really wish a lot of people could see this from our perspective, that we see so many people that are able to help each other, and how helping each other actually helps yourself to some degree. And if we all did that right now at the right time, you are right. Community banking is absolutely unbeatable. But just pounding our chest over it and saying it doesn't make it happen. We all have to work together.
Yeah, and I've always told my people since the time I've come here, a new regulation comes up and they go, "Oh God, we can't do that type of deposit anymore. We got to do this and this." And I was like, you know what? Just figure out a way to do it. Let's get it done. Just sitting here, complaining about it's not going to fix it. Let's move on and figure out a way to do it. So I think it is that community banking spirit, and obviously through the PPP program when through COVID, I mean the bankers stepped up. We can really do this. It's there's just a lot of opportunity. You may have to work a little harder, but I think the future is bright, and for young people too. Banking kind of got to the point where it's like all the old guys, but us older guys are getting to the point where we need to be replaced. But I know you guys mentioned my son-in-law. Yeah, I sat within a deer blind that he guided for you guys. Well, I got to know his best friend, and found him to be a intelligent, very bright young man. And I brought him in. I was like, "We're going to make a banker out of you." He handles all of our self-directed deposit products, just sharp. I mean, he picked this stuff up and just ran with it. And so there's opportunity not only for the banks, but for young people to come in. And if they have opportunity, he's just really eating it up. We go, we fly over and go to Arizona and go to California. I bring him with me, and we go meet with people, and he's just embraced it. So that's exciting to me as well.
I'll tell you what, you are such an inspiration for me and a ton of other people. You got a team. Everybody talks about culture. I don't like that word. Or leadership. I don't like that word either. It's just you have a way of being able. What you said a second ago about, I don't care what the problem is. Work the problem, man. We'll get there. This is our strength as Americans, is we can figure things out if we put our mind to it. And you have every member on your team thinking that way. You inspire the hell out of everybody around you, including me. And man, hats off to you. You're doing a hell of a job.
You know, I listened to a little YouTube video this morning on leadership, and you mentioned about earlier about and it's about teamwork, but they were talking about the Navy SEALs, and they were explaining the ones that don't make it, the ones that think they're the best and the strongest and the best athlete, and it's the ones that are helping their buddy that always get through because their buddy's going to help them. And I really try to build that type of environment here where no one's holding things to their chest. Everybody's transparent, and we know we're trying to win together.
Man, that's the only way we're gonna make it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I really appreciate you being here, David. I think you probably did more good than you know here today. And I think it not only in some really cool examples of what you guys are doing, but just as a theme, man, and a little bit of hope and inspiration, everybody out there, that you guys are just you stumble into things, you work the problem, you find your way into cool things. It takes a little bit of work, but it's not rocket science, man. So hats off to you. Really appreciate you. You guys give me a call when you're here if you need anything. If you need a place you need a couch to sleep on or any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, if anything comes up with any of the programs, man, I'm just right down the river. So you let us know what we can do to help.
That's what you need to do. Float down the river to Tanner's place and hang out.
Yeah.
You know, we have a place at Rio Frio, and the water finally came. It's so beautiful, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, good things, good things. You know, you have bad things that happen, and you pull together and you look up, and you have faith. There's God helping us push us through this.
Well, I'll tell you what, man,
I've seen it.
I really hope you can make it in November to Fredericksburg, the roundup, and hang out and share your experiences and just let other people learn from you. I think you've got so much to offer, and I'm just humbled to be in the room with you.
Well, I heard it's pretty tough to get a ticket there. I know we send our guys there. I'm gonna have to sign up really, really early to get in that deal because I know it's always sold out, right?
Yeah. I know the guy that runs the place. I'll make room for you.
All right.
Don't worry, man. Looking forward to it.
Same here. Same here. Really
Thank
appreciate
you so much.